growing up as a kid and going to school from the 2000s to 2010s, I think we can say we have full on taken the last good experience of school and society. I mean, in my humble, always correct opinion, I think school reached its peak when kids didn't have to worry about getting fucking dropped dead in class. And a major part of growing up in school back then had to deal with one odd thing: bullying. I feel like we all experienced some form of bullying in school as kids. And although bullying wasn't how they showed it like on Disney Channel shows, you know, they'd be getting their lunch money taken away or dunked in a toilet and shoved in lockers, which kind of looked cool in my opinion. Like, they should make bullying that cool. But the true type of bullying was words. And words hurt. It's kind of just a part of the school experience to get bullied in some way and have strangers' irrelevant opinions on your mind for the rest of your life. Like, I've never met a single person who isn't insecure about something from what someone said in school. The crazy thing is, it didn't matter what it was. Like, you could get bullied for literally anything in school. It could be your appearance, intelligence, style, development. It didn't matter. But there's one universal thing that every kid got bullied for, no matter who it was that had it. The most sanctified type of thing that caused kids who had it to fall in the deepest depressions. I wouldn't even wish this type of fate on the devil himself if I'm being real with this. And I'm talking about none other than the buzz cut. The buzz cut was by far the most bullyable thing to ever have in school as a kid in the 2000s. There were so many problems with having a buzz cut growing up. Like, when you had a buzz cut as a kid, it's way different than having it as you're older. Because when you're younger and a kid, you have like zero fucking clue to style yourself and do basic things. I mean, let's be real, a lot of us guys as kids didn't even do basic hygiene half the time in school. You had niggas with snot bubbles coming out their noses in the middle of classes, that nasty ass white ring around their lips, taking full-blown dookies on the school toilet and not washing their hands after, picking their nose in front of the hose, not brushing their teeth half the week. We were just nasty as hell is my point. So then you add on top of that the buzz cut, which exceptionally shows your big ass forehead to everyone on top of your nasty actions. And the worst part is you couldn't even hide your buzz cut in class. Like, if you try to wear a hoodie or hat to cover your nugget ass forehead, then the teachers would yell at you to take it off. I seriously don't understand why they're so pressed over someone wearing a hat in class to this day. These niggas seriously thought that wearing a hat in class would cause like world devastation or something. And you always had that one teacher who would act like it was their entire purpose on this planet to tell kids to take off their hat and hoodies in class. Bitch, it's not the 1800s. You don't tell me what to do anything. Like, they just didn't understand the pain they were inflicting on us as kids. Because by exposing your domium, you were at a 99% more risk to get roasted in class. And in school too, I always remember the nastiest mofos to ever have buzz cuts. I don't know if that was just my school, but I vividly remember kids with buzz cuts being the dirtiest people on the planet. For example, does anyone remember that kid's book called No David? You know, it was this ugly ass little gremlin. And I know Degenerosity talked about this, so I won't say much on it. But holy shit, was this kid the example of setting a bad notion for kids with buzz cuts. First off, he was not only a menace, but dirty as hell. Bro was running out the street butt booty naked, barefeeted, coming in the house and leaving mud stains all over the floor. And guess what haircut he had? A buzz cut. So when this book was made, the stereotypes of kids with a buzz cut being dirty came to light. But the problem was not every kid with a buzz cut was like this. I mean, yeah, you had your occasional kids with buzz cuts that were the worst people ever. But some of us were just forced to have this hairstyle by our parents. And that's another thing we have to talk about. Parents used to love making their kids get buzz cuts for some reason. Like, when I was younger and went to the barbershop as a kid, you know those signs that they hang up showing which haircut you would want to choose and pick? It would go from like 1 to 30 and show multiple different haircuts to pick. Yeah, there was no point of that for me. My fate was already set. I already knew what cut I was about to get when I went into the barbershop. I knew damn well my mom was gonna tell the barber to give me that clean nugget ass buzz cut and to make sure that it was as low as possible. Like, sometimes I would tell the barber not to cut it too low, but then behind my back my mom would just tell the barber to cut as low as he can. She had me looking exactly like this nigga Little Bill. You think I'm lying? Look at this image. Then look at this image. You can't tell me I didn't resemble this man to the T. And it's not like I could do anything either. She was paying it with her money. If I ever talked back to her and told her no, I didn't want that, you would have already seen me on a t-shirt by now. Long live Tommy. And it didn't matter what race you were to get this type of treatment. You could be black, white, Hispanic, Asian, it didn't matter. I've seen a person of every single race with a forced buzz cut in school at least once. And no matter what, 99% of the time they did not want a buzz cut. I don't remember a single kid who actually always liked rocking a buzz cut in school. A lot of times too, parents would hold their kids' hair against them like it's hostage. And you may be asking, Tommy, what do you so ever mean by this? I mean, that time of year when report cards started to get sent out to kids and their parents started to learn how they were doing in class, you knew which kids straight up got bad grades the day after report cards were sent out. The worst of worst kids would come back with their full head of hair just being completely cut off. And it's pretty obvious to tell that they were forced to get it the day after. They walked through the hallways the day after the buzz cut looking depressed as hell. They're acting oddly better in classes and raising their hand. They're gripping their ass cheeks knowing that they just got the worst whooping of existence last night. And they might try to play it off by saying it was their choice to do it and yada yada yada. But there was no point of that. I mean, everyone knew why they had that haircut. I mean, you straight up have full-on compilation now of kids being forced to get buzz cuts because of their grades. And the worst part is they don't even know that grades from elementary school to middle school have absolutely no value in life, which kind of made this punishment stupid in my opinion. And the kids are always crying their eyes out in these videos. Like, I cannot imagine how bad these videos would have been back then if people had smartphones like they do now. It's honestly the worst punishment you could give any kid in my opinion. They were removing the one important asset needed for me in school, my luscious hair. My hair is very important to me because in reality I never went to school for education. education. I mean, who goes to school to get educated? You're just a bot. Escape the matrix. I went to school for what every other guy did as well. To get bitches. Move like I'm him. And by removing the one important asset that was supposed to help take away from my ugly ass face, you're leaving me fully vulnerable to the world. Like, I would take any other punishment rather than this. Take away my consoles, I don't care. Take away my phone, I can live. Take away my computer, I had a 3DS anyways, bitch. But the fact that every parent just decided to go to the buzz cut route and still do is insanity. No wonder so many fucking guys have mental issues now. It all started when you forced them to get a buzz cut back in 4th grade. Like, don't be mad at me, mom and dad. Like, dad, I'm sorry you didn't have Riz in school and started balding at 30 years old. And mom, I'm sorry you gotta wear wigs and weaves now while I don't. But don't project that anger on me. I still got time. I need my hair and you don't. Okay, I got a little bit carried away. Sorry, mom and dad. But there's honestly a reason I get so mad about this subject just looking back at it. When you had a buzz cut as a kid, you were prone to every single type of roast in the book. All a person needed to roast you on when you had a buzz cut was your hair. You could be spitting the best roast lines that humanity has ever heard at the lunch table. And all a nigga had to say back to you as a rebuttal is, boy, I know you ain't talking. Your head built like Humpty Dumpty. Then everyone starts bursting out laughing like it was the funniest joke ever. It wasn't that funny. It's like having a buzz cut was right above the layer of being bald. And everyone knows that bald people are the #1 most roasted thing on the planet. We're talking about being bald before Walter White and Johnny Sins were a thing. It was only cool after that. Also, having a buzz cut not only made you vulnerable to insults from other people, but made you a target of assault in class. And you may be asking again, Tommy, what do you so ever mean by this? I'm talking about whoever started making it a joke to smack kids with buzz cuts needs to be locked up in jail. You couldn't go a day in school without one of your friends trying to smack your buzz cut ass head. This shit seriously gave me PTSD. Like, specifically in my middle school, it was really bad. We would have school events like every other school. And while all the kids sat in the bleachers tightly packed together, there were some kids in the bleachers whose sole purpose was to smack kids in the back of the head with buzz cuts. Like, I'm not joking, this is a real thing that they did in my middle school. They would reach for the kids sitting in the lower stands just so they could hide easier. It was like their whole mission on this planet was to do this specific task. And a lot of times they wouldn't get caught. They could just smack the shit out of someone's head, then hide back into the shadows of the bleachers. And it got way worse in schools once Vine started becoming big. You see, there was a little trend back in my day called something like the smack cam. Hearing the word smack cam was what you heard before getting hit with the power of 10 million newtons across your head. I'm still mad to this day that Vine made this a huge trend. I couldn't walk down the hallway without worrying if someone was gonna smack the shit out of my head. And for reference, I went to a pretty ghetto ass elementary school and middle school. I mean, for reference of how ghetto it is, I live about 20 minutes away from Baltimore. Most people don't even believe when I tell them this, and I'm surprised I'm even alive at this point. So kids would just start smacking the back of kids' heads in my school and running away in the hallways. And then it progressed even worse. Kids would just start smacking the back of kids' heads randomly. They would smack the back of your head and run away in the hallways, smack your head in the middle of the lunch line, smack your head in the middle of the class and run out the class. Like, I don't have a veteran badge legally, but I feel like I should have survived the smack cam era in Vine. Then the smack cam trend ended up proceeding to make new trends. It led to things like Smack Ass Friday. I think every school had some type of smack ass day, where the whole point of the day was just to smack a girl's ass. Well, at least that's how it ran at my school anyways. You would try your best to smack a girl's ass at least once in the day through school. Like, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck was wrong with society where we made this a trend, but the point is the smack cam trend traumatized me for life. Like, Vine was really just casually making assault a normal thing. But that's a talk for another day. In conclusion, having a buzz cut in school was pure pain. But I think as you get older, you start to accept them more and more. Like, there are so many goddamn things you can do with a buzz cut now that you really couldn't do before. Back then, nobody knew how to style their hair, but now there's multiple choices with things you can do. Like, now you can get waves with a buzz cut instead. You can rock a do-rag on top of it. You can wrap a bandana around your massive ass forehead. There's just so much more you can do. Like, kids should be lucky nowadays. Anyways, that's the conclusion of this rant. Follow my Instagram and TikTok. As always, I love you guys consensually, and until next time, I'm out. Actually, not until next time. As of now, I hit 200k, and I was not expecting to hit it, but I hit it literally while editing this fucking video, so I just want to say thank you so much, guys. And other than that, let's get back.